when you go to work. You're not just going to work with Africans.
Yeah.
You're going to work with
so many other people
across the board. You know, you're
and
going
you
to
took your time to learn how to deal with those other people.
But so you're at work. You have to adjust. Maybe your HR person is from Cameroon.
Let me see how to put this. We want to know how it is for African-born Gen Zs when it comes to relating to their parents. We want to talk about this. But before we talk about it, Uno Mike, you know, like if you have that clip ready, let me know and we can play it. But what, Rehema, maybe let me come to you. What was different, you know, from your peers, you know, like when it came to relating to your parents, you know, like for example, how Karen and Jake related to their parents as opposed to how you related to your parents, you know, like was there, you know, like one red flag that this is clearly very different from what the average American does?
Yes, so I think that the difference between my parents and I, and like comparing, like,
get closer to the mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the main difference definitely is how much the authority is stressed. I think like African parents are. I saw someone in the chat. I forgot who it was, but a while ago they had mentioned like that they disagreed with me because they think that African parents just want what is best for their children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I agree with.
Mm-hmm.
But the major difference between that and American parents is that is the main thing stressed. Everything else is secondary. Like, we want you guys to have a better life than what we had, and we want you guys to be, you know, your major needs are met.
Yeah.
And a lot of American families, I think, like, that's just, like, second, like, it's just all in one conglomerate. Like, it's not as stressed, if that makes sense. And, yeah, like, I think that's just the main thing. Like, the questioning of authority, coming to your parents about certain things. I grew up playing soccer, right? So I grew up around a lot of Americans all the time, different races, majority white people, but like mainly just Americans. I remember like there were certain things like sleepovers and such. Oh, Rehema, why don't you just ask if you can sleep over? Like, why are you so scared to ask? Because I can't. Like, asking won't do anything. The answer is
you already
no.
know the answer.
You already know the answer
every time.
But it's like
matter.
they never want to understand.
Yeah, they don't understand. They're just like, okay, but it doesn't hurt to ask. Actually, it does. Because if I ask, I'm going to hear the same thing. And now I'm embarrassed. So it's like certain things like that. The cultural difference is some things that cannot be changed. And growing up with Americans, you have to understand how to navigate it. Because they'll never fully understand, like, where I'm coming from.
Okay, they'll never understand why you can't just go ask just go ask your parents.
Something crazy.
Or have that open dialogue.
Yeah, the open, like, there isn't,
like just going, or like I would say like the authority, or like this for me it would be like respect. The authority, like respect, is like parents expect you to completely respect them the same way they respected their parents, which we do. But up to a point, I feel like respect is a two-way street, and the respect is often not given back.
Yeah.
Like, I know they're still children, but everybody deserves to be respected the way they are.
But you're the child.
Okay.
Like, see, yeah.
I mean, you're the child. So, I mean, the parent is always right. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Because, okay, to a certain extent, right?
Yeah, you're right.
But then it comes to a point where you have to separate the fact that they're your child from the fact that they're also a person. And that is where I feel like most
But I brought you into this world, so I'll just take you out.
That saying needs to be abolished.
That saying is so
I mean, what's there not to understand? You're
Okay,
here to be seen and not to be heard.
He's talking like an African.
Yeah, no, like,
no, I know.
I'm hearing my father like right there. Like, no, what I'm not saying this. I'm not saying the same amount of respect that is supposed to be given to you is supposed to be given back.
I get it.
Yeah.
See, it's very tough for your parents to do that because the way they grew up, see all those things I was saying, that's what they grew up with. And then there were additions of, if you don't like it, you can leave. And oh, by the way, you're leaving naked because I bought you those clothes. So, you know, there's when you take that context in, you kind of understand where they're coming from. And then they're caught between like two cultures. They're caught between America and also being African and from wherever ethnic group they're from. And for them to ride that and then be able to provide for their kids, and that's why they feel like they're providing for you, and the least you could do is listen to what they say,
But
no matter what.
Now here's the thing, right? That the entire mentality of like, I'm providing for you, so you shouldn't ask for anything else. That's not.
Or you should listen to every single thing
I say. That is, to me,
I feel like that's what leads to children not wanting to listen to at a point anymore, like, or not want to talk to you, because it's like, if you say you're providing and you should listen to everything I say, but if I come to you, you don't listen to me because like I already provide for you. There's nothing left to say. That's the end. That's the end of it.
And it also comes to like building a relationship with your child outside of parenting. Like, it's one thing to be like, okay, I'm buying you food, you're in school, you're healthy. But also, like, do you know your kids' interests? Do you know what they like? And
I think they don't know how to do that because they
were
never
raised
raised that way. And then
but
by
now,
the time they kind of try to learn,
it's too late.
You guys are adults and you're out the house.
Yeah, but I think, like in their defense, I think, like this was okay when this was fairly new. But I think now we're getting into a position where I think people are seeing the issues with neglecting these things or not trying to learn them. So I think the important thing going forward is for people not to repeat these mistakes. Tricia says transactional love as opposed to unconditional love. And then, like as Uno Mike is queuing a clip we want to play, Slay here is saying this is something a lot of us parents are learning, including apologizing when we are wrong. We grew up in a time.
What?
No, wait. Let me finish. Let me finish reading what she's saying. Saying apologizing when we are wrong. We grew up in a time where you could speak up, let alone where we could not speak up, let alone correct your elders. The one thing that I would say here is that there also needs to be a balance. Like you don't wanna overcompensate and go the whole other way, because at the end of the day, you're still a parent. But I think you should also be aware that you're parenting in a very different environment, and be self-aware that I need to learn. Like in a lot of these, sometimes these get-together we have, I think it's important, like where people are schooled about, like finances and stuff like that. We should have a session where, like parents who've been here for a long time, school other parents who are new and they're coming here and telling them this is what to expect and this is what you need to know. Because I think that sometimes doesn't happen, and that's where you see these mistakes being repeated. Annette Karanja here says the parent is always right, translating to teachers are always right, your boss is always right, the police are always right, your abuser is always right. Teacher personhood is so important to prevent abuse. So very important comment there. Elizabeth Njuguna says we have a lot to unlearn from parenting as we were parented. Then
can I bring up one point?
Yes, go ahead.
Well?
Go ahead, Rehema.
I think also, like, back to the idea of like, okay, so when African parents were growing up, right, they were surrounded by other African kids of other African parents only.
Yes.
And for us, we have our African parents at home, right? Obviously, we have our cousins, we have the church community, sure, but we also have Americans, Asian Americans, like everybody else. You know what I mean? So we're hearing how these other people are experiencing these things, these experiences people are having, the way these parents are acting with other kids, and we're obviously going to reflect because we are in that environment. And I think that's what a lot of our parents struggle to understand. Like, we have so many outside factors affecting the way we see things. Oh, why do you think I would act like that? Why do you think I would be able to give you the permission to do that? Because my peers are getting those permissions, and I don't understand why I can't either. We're the same age. That's the kind of mindset.
So parents should be understanding there's a lot of different moving parts, and you put yourself in a position to try and understand. And I think also with the kids, I mean, the kids of course are kids, but I think also as a parent, if you put yourself in a position where you want to understand, and if there's something for particular reason that you don't want your child to do, like for example, go for a sleepover or go for Halloween with the other trick-or-treaters in the neighborhood, you have to explain to your child why you're doing that in an empathetic way.
To draw a parallel, and maybe this might help or whatever. I think the same way Rehema is talking about being in because you have your people at home, but when you go out there, you've got Asian Americans, whatever.
It's a whole different world.
It's the same way when you go to work. You're not just going to work with Africans.
Yeah.
You're going to work with
so many other people
across the board. You're going
you
to
took
work.
your time to learn how to deal with those other people.
But so you're at work. You have to adjust. Maybe your HR person is from Cameroon. Maybe your the finance person is from Philippines.
India.
Maybe your IT guy is from France. Maybe your the person the main administrator in the office is from Czechoslovakia. You have to adjust. You have to adjust, and you have to accommodate. Put your child in that position too.